Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying that success doesn't make noise. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to be loud, flashy, and on display for the world to notice you. But let me tell you something, that's not how real success works. You see, real greatness doesn't need applause, it doesn't need validation, it doesn't need anyone's attention. The key to success is working in silence. The world may not see your struggle. They may not see the long hours, the sacrifices, the dedication you pour into your craft, but that's okay, because true greatness isn't about showing off. It's about building something so strong that the world can't ignore it when it's ready to emerge. You've got to be willing to grind when no one's watching. It's not about the trophies you collect, the social media posts, or the recognition you get along the way. It's about the quiet effort, the small steps that add up to something bigger than you ever imagined. You've got to dig deep and keep pushing, even when it feels like no one cares, because guess what? The most powerful thing you can do is keep working, even when it seems like you're invisible. It's about creating momentum in your life that no one can stop. People will doubt you, they'll question your methods, they'll tell you that you're wasting your time, but let me tell you, the world will respect you when you show up with results, not excuses. The silence you work in, it's the space where you lay the foundation for something extraordinary. And when your results finally speak for themselves, people will start asking, how did you do it? And at that moment, you won't need to tell them a thing. Your success will speak volumes. The work you put in behind the scenes will show everyone exactly what you're made of. So here's what I want you to do. Forget the distractions. Stop worrying about who's watching. Stop looking for approval. Keep your head down. Keep grinding, and let your success be the loudest thing in the room. The true power in life is found when you're willing to keep moving forward silently, steadily, and relentlessly. Because when you work hard in silence, the world will hear your success before it ever sees your struggle. Success doesn't need validation. It's one of the most powerful truths that can shape your mindset and transform your approach to life. Too often we get caught up in seeking approval, attention, or recognition from others. We post about our accomplishments on social media, hoping for likes and comments. We measure our progress by the applause we get from the outside world, constantly wondering if we're doing enough to be noticed. But what if I told you that real success doesn't care about any of that? What if I told you that the most successful people in the world didn't wait for someone's stamp of approval? They didn't live their lives chasing applause. They focused on their own goals, their own growth, their own standards. The truth is, validation from others is fleeting. It can feel good for a moment, but it doesn't provide lasting fulfillment. The applause dies down, the cheers fade away, and the recognition becomes hollow. When you rely on external validation to fuel your progress, you're handing over your power to others. You're allowing their opinions, their judgments, and their expectations to define how you show up in the world. And when that happens, you lose the essence of what it means to truly succeed. Real success comes from within. It's about setting your own standards and measuring your own progress based on what's important to you, not what others think. It's about developing an internal drive that doesn't rely on the opinions or approval of others. The most successful individuals in any field are those who are self-driven. They don't wait for validation before they take action. They don't seek permission to pursue their dreams. They don't look to others to tell them they're on the right track. They make their own decisions, trust their own judgment, and keep pushing forward regardless of what anyone else has to say. This doesn't mean that feedback isn't valuable. It doesn't mean that we should ignore constructive criticism or ignore the advice of mentors. What it means is that your journey shouldn't be about waiting for someone to recognize your worth. Your work, your effort, your results should be enough to validate your progress. Validation should come from within yourself, from knowing that you're moving in the direction of your dreams, regardless of who notices. In the process of striving for success, there will always be moments of doubt. You will encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable. There will be times when others question your choices or tell you that you're wasting your time. But in those moments, you have to remind yourself that their opinions don't define your value. Only you can do that. Only you can decide whether or not you're moving toward your goals with purpose and intention. When you're truly focused on your goals, when you're fully committed to your vision, external validation becomes irrelevant. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're on the right track because you already know that you are. The journey itself becomes the reward, the growth, the progress, the challenges you face. These are the things that will sustain you, not the applause of others. When you work from a place of internal validation, you build resilience. You don't rely on others to pick you up when you fall because you know that you have the strength within you to keep going even when things get tough. One of the most powerful aspects of internal validation is the ability to trust yourself. Trusting yourself means believing in your vision even when no one else does. It means continuing to move forward even when the path isn't clear. It means making decisions based on your values and your goals, not based on what will gain you approval from others. When you trust yourself, you give yourself permission to fail, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. You give yourself the freedom to experiment, to innovate, and to try new things without the fear of judgment. External validation often leads to comparison. We look at what others are doing and measure our progress against theirs. We see their success and wonder why we haven't reached that level yet. But when you focus on internal validation, comparison becomes irrelevant. You no longer measure your success by someone else's standards. You don't waste time looking over your shoulder, wondering if you're doing enough. Instead, you stay focused on your own path, your own journey, your own growth. You understand that your journey is unique and that your success will come in your own time, on your own terms. Living a life based on external validation also creates a sense of insecurity. When you constantly seek approval from others, you make your self-worth dependent on their opinions. You become vulnerable to criticism, rejection, and judgment. If someone disagrees with you or doesn't acknowledge your efforts, it can feel like a personal attack. But when your validation comes from within, you no longer need to worry about what others think. You no longer need to seek approval to feel good about yourself. You learn to stand firm in your own beliefs, your own abilities, and your own worth. Success is not about pleasing others or fitting into their expectations. It's about aligning with your true purpose and staying committed to the journey, regardless of who recognizes your efforts. When you work from a place of internal validation, you're not waiting for permission to succeed. You're not relying on others to tell you when you're on the right path. You're trusting yourself, your process, and your progress. The greatest achievements in history were not accomplished by those seeking validation from others. They were accomplished by those who were willing to put in the work, day after day, regardless of who was watching. They understood that success doesn't make noise. It's built quietly, step by step, with patience and perseverance. It's not about seeking praise or recognition. It's about putting in the effort, doing the work, and knowing that, in the end, your results will speak for themselves. The next time you doubt yourself or seek approval from others, remember this: you don't need anyone's validation to succeed. Your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Your success is not defined by their applause or recognition. It's defined by the effort you put in, the growth you experience, and the results you achieve. Keep going, keep working, and let your success be the validation you need. Greatness is built in silence, not in the spotlight. The world often places an emphasis on the loudest voices, the flashiest displays, and the brightest lights. We live in a world that celebrates instant fame and overnight success, where everyone is clamoring for attention, validation, and recognition. But the reality is, true greatness doesn't need to be seen to exist. In fact, it thrives in the quiet moments, in the background, and in the unseen efforts that are made when no one is watching. When we look at the most successful individuals in history, we often see their triumphs, their breakthroughs, and their moments of glory, but we rarely see the long hours of hard work, the countless hours of practice, and the dedication they put in when no one was looking. Behind every successful person, there is a story of persistence, of failure, and of quiet determination. Greatness doesn't announce itself. It is built over time, step by step, in silence. The world often misunderstands this. People look for the loudest, most attention-grabbing display, thinking that success is synonymous with recognition. We're told that we need to be seen to be successful, that we need to be constantly promoting ourselves, broadcasting our achievements, and getting validation from others. But this mindset can often be a trap. When you're constantly seeking the spotlight, you may end up losing sight of what truly matters, the work itself. You may become more concerned with how others perceive you than with the quality of the work you're putting out. And when that happens, you risk losing your authentic drive. Greatness is forged in the quiet moments of discipline and focus. It's the countless hours of practice, the persistence when no one else believes in you, the resilience in the face of failure. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about putting in the work when no one is there to cheer you on, when you're not getting the recognition, and when the results seem far away. It's these quiet moments that are the foundation for something truly extraordinary. One of the reasons greatness is built in silence is because it requires a level of commitment and focus that cannot be distracted by the noise of the outside world. When you're constantly seeking the approval and attention of others, you become distracted from the real work that needs to be done. The noise of the world, the distractions, and the need for validation can all pull you away from the deep focus and commitment required to achieve anything great. The people who achieve extraordinary things are those who are willing to block out the distractions and focus solely on their craft, their purpose, and their vision. Silence allows for the kind of deep work that produces results. It's easy to be distracted by social media, by the opinions of others, by the need to keep up with the latest trends. But real success requires a different kind of focus. It requires the ability to shut out the noise and immerse yourself in the work that matters. It's about getting up early when the world is still asleep, putting in the hours of practice or study without expecting immediate results, and staying consistent even when the outcome is uncertain. These quiet moments of effort are what ultimately lead to breakthrough moments of success. In the pursuit of greatness, you will face doubts. There will be times when it feels like no one is noticing your efforts, when it feels like you're putting in all this work for nothing. But that's where the power of silence comes into play. When you're working quietly, without expecting anything in return, you learn to trust the process. You learn that success doesn't happen overnight, and that every small step forward is progress. You learn to appreciate the journey and the growth that happens along the way. It's in these quiet moments that you build the resilience and mental toughness necessary to push through the hard time. The beauty of greatness built in silence is that it is not dependent on external validation. You don't need others to acknowledge your efforts for you to keep going. You're driven by an internal fire, a deep belief in your own potential, and a commitment to your purpose. This internal drive keeps you moving forward even when the world doesn't recognize your efforts. It's not about the applause, it's about the satisfaction of knowing that you're doing what you're meant to do, regardless of whether anyone is watching. Another important aspect of greatness built in silence is the ability to remain humble. When you're constantly seeking attention, it's easy to become arrogant or prideful, but when you're focused on the work itself, when you're driven by a sense of purpose rather than the desire for recognition, you remain grounded. Humility allows you to stay focused on the task at hand and to keep learning and growing. It prevents you from becoming distracted by the praise and the accolades and keeps you focused on what really matters, the work. Greatness built in silence is also a reflection of patience. It's the patience to understand that success is not an instant result, but a long-term process. It's the patience to keep going even when the results aren't immediate. Most people give up too soon because they expect quick results. They don't see the value in the small incremental steps that are required to achieve something truly great. But those who build greatness in silence understand that every small step is a victory in itself. They know that the road to success is long and filled with challenges, but they're willing to walk it step by step without needing instant gratification. The beauty of working in silence is that it allows for a deeper connection to your craft. When you're not seeking validation from others, you can focus purely on the joy and satisfaction of doing the work itself. You're not doing it for the applause, the recognition, or the reward. You're doing it because you love it, because it fulfills you, and because it aligns with your purpose. This deeper connection to the work makes the process more meaningful and enjoyable, even in the face of challenges. When you work in silence, you also give yourself the freedom to fail. Failure is often seen as something to avoid, but when you're focused on the journey rather than the outcome, failure becomes a learning experience. It's not something to be ashamed of, but something to grow from. Failure is a natural part of the process, and when you're working quietly, you don't have to worry about public judgment or criticism. You can fail, learn from it, and keep moving forward without the fear of what others think. Greatness built in silence is a quiet force that cannot be ignored. It doesn't need to announce itself or demand attention. It speaks for itself through the results that are achieved over time. When you've put in the work, when you've built something solid from the ground up, the world will eventually notice. And when that moment comes, it will be all the more powerful because it will be a reflection of the effort, the sacrifice, and the dedication that went into it. But until then, you keep working in silence, knowing that the greatest achievements are often the quietest ones. Keep grinding even when no one's watching. This is a principle that separates those who achieve greatness from those who simply dream about it. The truth is, the path to success is rarely a straight line, and it's rarely a path that is walked in the spotlight. Most of the work, most of the progress, and most of the growth happens when no one is around to see it. It happens in those quiet, lonely hours when the world is busy with its own distractions. It happens when you're exhausted, when the obstacles seem insurmountable, and when it feels like no one notices or cares about your efforts. But this is exactly when your persistence is tested and your true character is forged. In our world today, we become conditioned to want immediate recognition. We live in a time when instant gratification is at our fingertips, and it's easy to get caught up in the desire for quick results. Social media, for example, has given us a platform to seek approval, to be seen, and to feel validated by the opinions of others. But when you're truly on the road to success, you'll realize that most of the hard work happens behind the scenes, away from the prying eyes of others. If you rely on the applause and approval of others to drive your efforts, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The real rewards come from within. They come from the discipline to keep going, even when it feels like you're alone in your journey. The grind is often invisible. People may not see the countless hours you put in, the sacrifices you make, or the challenges you face. But that's okay. It's not about what others see or don't see. It's about the commitment you have to your vision, your goals, and your personal growth. When you're grinding, it's easy to feel isolated. You might look around and wonder why it feels like no one is supporting you. You might see others enjoying the fruits of their labor while you're still in the trenches, working away in silence. But this is where true resilience is built. It's in these moments of solitude that you learn to trust yourself, to rely on your own strength, and to keep pushing forward even when the results aren't immediate. There will be days when you feel like giving up. The road will get tough and the obstacles will feel insurmountable. You might question whether the effort is worth it, especially when no one seems to notice or acknowledge the hard work you're putting in. But those are the moments that define you. It's easy to keep going when everyone is cheering you on, but the real test of your character is how you show up when there's no one there to applaud you. It's about being your own source of motivation, your own source of energy. You have to find that drive within yourself and let it fuel you through the tough times. One of the hardest aspects of the grind is the loneliness that can come with it. When you're pursuing a big goal or building something great, it often feels like you're the only one who sees the vision. Others may not understand your dedication and they might not support you the way you'd like. But you can't let that deter you. You can't let the lack of external validation stop you from doing the work, because in the end, it's the work that speaks for itself. The grind doesn't need applause. It doesn't need a cheering crowd. It only needs your commitment to keep pushing, even when it feels like no one else cares. The grind is about consistency. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when you're tired. It's about continuing to take action day after day without expecting immediate results. Too often we measure success by instant outcomes. We look for quick fixes, fast results, and immediate validation, but real success is built on consistency. It's about making progress every single day, no matter how small, and trusting that those small efforts will eventually add up to something bigger. The grind is about doing the work even when the results aren't visible yet. because you understand that every step forward brings you closer to your goal. It's also important to understand that grinding doesn't always mean working harder. It means working smarter. It means putting in the effort, but also being strategic about how you use your time and energy. There's no point in grinding away without direction. You have to be clear about what you're working towards and why it matters. When you have a vision, when you know where you're headed, every step you take brings you closer to that destination. The grind isn't just about the hours you put in, it's about the focus and clarity with which you pursue your goals. In the moments when you feel like no one is watching, that's when your true potential is being tested. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't see immediate progress or when others don't seem to recognize your efforts. But this is where you have to dig deep. This is where the real work happens. You're building something that no one can take away from you. The effort you put in, the resilience you show, and the consistency you demonstrate all add up to something far greater than any immediate praise or recognition. The grind isn't just about achieving external success, it's also about the growth you experience on the inside. It's about developing the mental toughness to keep going when the going gets tough, the discipline to stay focused on your goals, and the patience to trust the process. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. And that journey is made up of the small, quiet moments where you keep pushing forward even when no one is there to see it. The grind is where you develop the character, the skills, and the mindset that will carry you through to the next level of success. So, when it feels like no one is watching, when it feels like you're putting in all this effort for nothing, remember that the grind is what's shaping you. It's what's building the foundation for your success. Keep grinding because the work you're doing in the quiet, behind-the-scenes moments is laying the groundwork for your breakthrough. It's preparing you for the time when your efforts will finally be recognized. And when that time comes, you'll know that you didn't get there by relying on the applause of others. You got there because you kept grinding even when no one was watching. Results will speak louder than words ever could. In a world that thrives on communication, it's easy to get caught up in the need to explain, justify, and express your intentions. We often feel the need to share our goals, our plans, and our vision with others in the hopes of gaining validation or approval. We make promises, tell people what we're going to do, and talk about what we're working toward. But the truth is, words are cheap. Words are easy. It's far easier to speak about what you're going to do than it is to actually do it. The real measure of success isn't found in what you say, but in what you accomplish. The results are what matter most, and they will always speak louder than any words you could ever say. One of the reasons why results speak louder than words is because they are tangible. When you show up day after day and put in the effort, when you push through the challenges, and when you keep working even when no one is watching, your results are the proof of your dedication. Your results are what show the world that you've been putting in the work. They are the evidence of your commitment to your goals. And when the results start to speak for themselves, there's no need to explain or justify your actions. Your accomplishments do all the talking for you. Words, on the other hand, are fleeting. People can say all sorts of things. They can talk about their dreams, their ambitions, and their plans, but talk is cheap. Anyone can say they want to achieve something or that they're going to do something. The real test comes in the execution. It's easy to make promises and sound convincing, but the true measure of success lies in the action you take and the results you produce. Words may get you attention, but it's the results that command respect. When you focus on delivering results, you remove the need for constant validation. You don't need to convince anyone that you're doing the right thing because your results will speak for themselves. Your actions will show the world exactly what you're capable of. In many ways, results are more powerful than words because they are authentic. When you rely on words to express your intentions or your potential, there's always a level of uncertainty. People can question your sincerity or wonder if you're really capable of delivering on your promises. But when you produce results, there is no ambiguity. The evidence is there for everyone to see. You can't fake results. They don't lie. Results are the ultimate form of proof. They demonstrate that you put in the work, that you've stayed committed, and that you've achieved something tangible. There's also a sense of power that comes with letting your results speak for you. When you let your work do the talking, you no longer have to rely on convincing others of your worth or your abilities. You don't have to explain why you're doing what you're doing or defend your choices. The results you produce are the ultimate validation of your efforts. They show that you don't need to rely on external approval or applause to know that you're on the right track. Your results are the confirmation that you are doing the right thing regardless of what others might say or think. Another reason why results speak louder than words is that they are lasting. Words can be forgotten or misunderstood, but results are permanent. Once you achieve something significant, the impact it has remains. Whether it's a product you've created, a business you've built, or a skill you've mastered, the results endure. They have a lasting effect on the world and on the people around you. Words, on the other hand, fade away. They're quickly forgotten once the conversation is over, but results are tangible, visible, and long-lasting. They create a legacy that outlives any speech or explanation you could ever give. Moreover, results carry a level of respect that words simply cannot match. People are drawn to action, not talk. They are inspired by what others accomplish, not by what they say they're going to do. Results earn you the respect of others because they show that you have the ability to follow through on your commitments. They show that you have the discipline, the focus, and the drive to achieve your goals. Talk may impress people for a moment, but results command long-term respect. When people see that you consistently produce results, they start to take notice. They start to recognize your capabilities and acknowledge your worth, not because of what you've said, but because of what you've done. Another important aspect of results speaking louder than words is that they show your true potential. Anyone can talk a big game, but only a few can back it up with results. Your results demonstrate your ability to push through adversity, to face challenges head on, and to stay committed to your goals even when things get tough. They reveal the depth of your character and the strength of your resolve. When you deliver results, you show the world what you're truly made of. Words may paint a picture, but results show the true colors of who you are. In the business world, in personal development, and in almost every other area of life, results are what truly matter. While words can open doors and create opportunities, it's the results you deliver that determine your success. It's easy to talk about what you can do, but it's far more powerful to actually do it. When you focus on producing results, you set yourself apart from the crowd. You distinguish yourself from those who merely talk about their goals and dreams. Your results demonstrate that you are someone who takes action, who delivers on your promises, and who follows through on your commitments. The power of results is that they allow you to stand on your own. You don't need anyone's permission or approval to succeed. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're doing the right thing. When you produce results, you earn the right to speak. You earn the respect of others through your actions, not your words. And in the process, you build a reputation as someone who can be trusted, someone who gets things done, and someone who can be relied upon to deliver on their promises. In the end, it's the results that define your success. Words may inspire and motivate, but they don't carry the weight that results do. The work you do, the outcomes you produce, and the impact you have on the world are what truly matter. And when you focus on delivering results, you stop worrying about what others think or what they say. You trust in your ability to produce and let the results speak for themselves. You don't need to explain yourself or justify your actions because your results are the proof that you are on the right path. They are the most powerful form of communication, the ultimate form of validation, and the true measure of your success. The grind doesn't stop when the world turns off its lights. Success isn't a momentary achievement that you celebrate one day and forget about the next. It's not about one big break or a sudden surge of recognition. Success is about the relentless pursuit of excellence, the ability to keep going even when the momentum seems to slow, and the inner strength to push forward when no one else is around to motivate you. The grind is about showing up day in and day out when others are resting, when others are waiting for permission, and when the world tells you that you've already done enough. It's in these moments, in the silence of your dedication, that the magic truly happens. In our world today, we have become obsessed with shortcuts. with finding the easiest way to get from point A to point B. We're constantly seeking the fastest route, the most efficient method, the quickest path to success. While there's nothing wrong with working smarter, we often forget that the real path to success is paved with consistency, persistence, and hard work. It's easy to fall into the trap of expecting instant results, but the truth is that real success takes time. It's a journey that requires a steady commitment to the grind, a commitment to show up even when it feels like there's no immediate reward. We live in an era of distraction. Social media, constant notifications, and the pressure to keep up with the latest trends can pull us away from the work that truly matters. It's easy to get caught up in the noise, to lose focus on the grind because we're constantly distracted by the external forces around us. But if you want to achieve anything of significance, you have to learn how to block out that noise. You have to learn how to stay focused on the work itself, on the quiet hours of practice, study, and effort that no one else sees. Success is about being able to concentrate on the task at hand, even when the world is clamoring for your attention. There's a certain power that comes from learning to embrace the grind, to be content with the process even when the end result is not in sight. It's easy to want instant results, to want to be acknowledged for your efforts right away. But true greatness is never built in an instant. It's built over time, one small victory at a time. Each day you put in the effort, even when the results aren't immediate, you're moving closer to your goal. And each time you show up to do the work, even when no one else is watching, you're reinforcing your commitment to the journey. When you commit to the grind, you develop an unshakable mindset. You understand that success is not guaranteed, that failure is part of the process, and that the path to greatness is full of setbacks. But instead of being discouraged by failure, you learn to use it as fuel. Each time you fail, you learn, you grow, you adapt, you refine your approach, and you come back strong. The grind is about building that resilience, that mental toughness, that ability to keep going even when the road ahead seems uncertain. The grind is also about discipline. It's about the ability to stay focused on the work day after day without getting distracted by the noise of the outside world. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's what ensures that you continue to make progress even when the results don't seem to be coming fast enough. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it, putting in the effort even when you're tired, and staying focused on your long-term goals instead of chasing after short-term pleasures. It's this kind of discipline that separates the dreamers from the achievers, the talkers from the doers. The grind doesn't require recognition or validation from others. In fact, the grind is often done in silence, away from the public eye. It's in these quiet moments of work that you truly build your strength, your skills, and your character. When you don't rely on external validation to keep you going, you learn to depend on your internal drive. You develop a deep belief in yourself, in your vision, and in your ability to achieve your goals. This internal belief is what carries you through the difficult times, the times when others may doubt you or when you start to question yourself. The grind is about trusting the process, trusting that the work you're putting in today will pay off in the future, even if you can't see the results right now. One of the greatest challenges of the grind is the temptation to give up. It's easy to throw in the towel when progress seems slow, when the results aren't coming as quickly as you'd like, or when it feels like the road ahead is too difficult. But it's in these moments that you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remember that success is not an event, but a process. And the process requires the willingness to keep pushing forward even when things aren't going your way. Every small effort, every step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is progress. And every day that you continue to show up, even when it feels like nothing is changing, you're building momentum. The grind also requires sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up the things that don't align with your goals, to let go of the distractions that pull you away from your purpose. It may mean saying no to things that seem appealing in the moment, but don't contribute to your long-term success. It may mean sacrificing your time, your energy, and your comfort for the sake of your dreams. But the sacrifices you make in the present will pay off in the future, and the rewards you reap will be far greater than anything you had to give up. At times it may feel like you're running on empty, like you've given everything you have, but the results are still out of reach. But that's the beauty of the grind. It's the process that shapes you. It's the journey that molds you into someone capable of achieving greatness. Every hour you put in, every minute you dedicate to your craft is creating something within you that can't be measured by immediate results. It's building your resilience, your focus, your discipline, and your character. Eventually, the grind pays off. It doesn't always happen overnight, but over time, the effort you've put in will begin to show. The sacrifices you've made, the consistency you've maintained, and the lessons you've learned along the way will all come together in a way that brings you closer to your goals. The grind is about keeping the faith even when you can't see the finish line. It's about believing in the process, trusting that your hard work will eventually bear fruit, and knowing that each step forward brings you closer to your dreams. Success isn't just about the end result, it's about the person you become in the process. The grind is where you develop the mindset, the habits, and the resilience needed to succeed. It's where you learn to overcome adversity, to keep going when it gets tough, and to push past your limits. The grind isn't just about reaching your goals, it's about who you become in the pursuit of those goals. And it's in the silence of your effort, in the unseen moments of hard work, that you build the foundation for everything that comes next. The grind never stops because success is not an event, it's a continuous journey.